I've been doing a lot of traveling recently. I visited must be about a dozen cities. I even went to Lusaka in Zambia. And all of it was just meetings and lecture tours, getting to know people, doing some business. I love traveling. And when I don't travel, then I start to get a bit restless. I mean, I've been home just about a week now from Lusaka, and I'm already looking forward to my next trip. In fact, there's a poem by the famous Imam of Islamic jurisprudence, Imam Shafi'i. In his Diwan, he relates a poem, and I love this poem because it talks to me on such a personal level. It's about travel. And I'll give you the first few lines of it, just to make your day, just to make you happy. He says, ما في المقام لذي عقل وذي أدب من راحة فدع الأوطان واغتربي. He says, for a person of intelligence and culture, there's no rest in being at home. So travel. سافر تجد عوضا عما تفارقه. So travel. You'll find better replacements for what you left behind. وانصب فإن لذيذ العيش في النصب. Strive, because the beauty, the taste of life is in striving. And the poem goes on. He relates traveling to the water that is flowing versus water that stagnates. He relates it to gold, which is under the ground. He says gold, which is in its original place, is just like dirt. But the moment you mine it and unearth it, that's when it becomes a thing of value. It's the same with an arrow. An arrow does nothing until it leaves the bow. So he uses a lot of beautiful metaphors here to describe that the value of something changes when it moves from from one place to another. When it leaves its place of origin and it goes out, its value increases. And in the similar way, a person's value increases when he travels, when he or she travels. So I love traveling, and I've been doing a lot of it, and I've been enjoying it. Now, when I speak to people about my travels and the different talks I've given, people tend to get impressed that that I'm such a multi-talented sort of person. For example, in the past 2 months, I spoke at a bank about cybersecurity. I spoke at the Department of Basic Education about technology and education. I spoke at a conference in Zambia for Muslim scholars on artificial intelligence and the impact it's going to have on religion. I spoke at a Halaal conference on the topic of Halal tech. I actually coined that term, Halal tech, about technology innovations that have the ability to transform the halal industry. So people ask me, how is it that you can speak on so many different topics? And my simple answer is, well, that's my superpower. I have the ability to pretty much walk into any kind of business, any type of industry, and look at how I can use technology to enhance this, how I would implement different types of technology, you name it, whatever types of technologies, mobile, artificial intelligence, geolocation, big data, you name it. So I have this ability to do that, to look at these technologies and to look at this industry and to marry the two and to provide recommendations to the people in those industries as to how they can make their lives easier. So I tend to impress people with that. But really, it's nothing that impressive. It's like a magician whose trick seems to be fascinating until he reveals how he's doing that trick. And when he reveals his method, then it's like, okay, that wasn't so impressive. Now, what is my secret to being able to marry technology with so many different industries? My method is very, very simple. I actually list it out in my book, Snags to Riches, which means going from problems to opportunities. And that's the one thing that I find that really frustrates me is that there are tons of opportunities out there that technology has created and is currently creating, but we tend to only focus on the dark side of technology. We tend to focus on the job losses. We tend to focus on the negative influence of technology on children. We focus on hacking and on the evils of social media and the dangers of artificial intelligence. My question to everyone is, what about the opportunities? If you focus on negative, negative, negative all the time, then that's what you will see. You see what your mind is attuned to see. For example, if I said today, go and step outside, and wherever you go, you'll see white Toyota Corollas. You will see white Toyota Corollas if that's what you are looking for. And if you're not looking for it, you probably won't. So people have attuned their minds to all the negatives around technology and have missed out or are missing out on the opportunities. Golden opportunities is this ripe fruit that's hanging on a higher branch of the tree. And people are saying, well, this tree potentially has snakes in it. If I try to climb, I might fall. And a whole lot of other issues. Okay. But you're going to miss out on that fruit, right? There are dangers, but you can learn to navigate those dangers and reach that fruit at the top, that low-hanging, ripe, delicious fruit. And that's the opportunities for financial gain, for learning, for self-improvement that technology presents. And if you don't tap into those opportunities, then you're going to get nowhere. So let me get to my method. My method for identifying opportunities wherever I go. Like I said, it's all in my book, Snags to Riches. I'll put a link in the description where you can read my book for free. So the first step, I use a 6-step method, and I've made it easy to remember the 6 steps because they all start with the letter C. Step 1, critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is the ability to take in some information and to formulate an opinion about it, to identify what is good, what is not good about it. Now, information doesn't necessarily mean information you read somewhere, or you listen, or you watch somewhere. It could be a real-world observation that you make. For example, you're driving along the road to work and you see there's a pothole there. That's information. And normally what people would do is that they'd simply just drive around that pothole and carry on until it becomes second nature. And for the rest of their lives, they will just simply drive around it without thinking about it. Now, we tend to do this at work. It's business as usual. We stick to the things we know. This is how we've always done them. But a person who's got the ability to think creatively will look at that, or to think critically, will look at that and say, well, I know we've done this, for the past few decades, we've done it just like this, but is there a better way to do it? And then this person will set off a step of, or a series of steps. The second in those steps, now first, like I said, creative thinking. The second one is a change mindset. So you look at this and you decide that this old way of doing it is just inefficient. It's costing us time, it's costing us money. Things need to change. Now, the moment you use the word change, people get terrified, right? Because change is scary. People like their comfort zones. They don't like moving out of those comfort zones. So the moment you make the decision to change, people don't like you. But this is where we need to be taught a change mindset. Now, change mindset means a number of things. One of the things it means is that we understand that in change, there is opportunity. The other thing is that I have the ability to change. I have the ability to grow. As the problems grow, I have the ability to grow, to change myself, to upgrade myself, to improve myself constantly so that I'm always on top of these problems. Change mindset. Because without the change mindset, It's just a matter of theory, right? Critical thinking. Well, this is wrong with the world and that is wrong with the world. Like these philosophers. Philosophers are great. They're great thinkers, but they're useless when it comes to doing things. That change mindset is the critical difference. Very few people have the power, the drive to change. The next one is, now you look at this complex problem and you chunk it, or a more complex word is compartmentalization. You compartmentalize every aspect of the bigger problem, and then you pick out the ones that are problematic. It's like teeth, right? You've got a toothache. Now, a toothache, for those of us who experienced it, causes your whole head to throb. So what do? You go to the dentist. He doesn't remove all your teeth. He identifies the tooth that has the problem, and then within that he identifies the cavity that's causing the problem, and he simply drills and fills. Now this is what it means. You take the bigger problem and you identify the segment, the part that has the actual, that is the root cause of the problem, and you remedy that. The next one is creativity. Now that you've found the problem, you use your creative thinking abilities to solve this problem. But you can't do it alone, so you collaborate with others. Many of us think we can do everything. We think we are like Swiss Army knives of human beings. As much as we'd like to think like that, we are not like that. So you need to know your strengths and weaknesses. That's where C number 5 comes in, collaboration, the ability to work with others. A lot of people tell me, well, I just can't work with others. But that is a weakness. You need to work on your ability to collaborate. And finally, communication. I mean, you can have the best solution to the most important problems in the world, but if you can't communicate that to people in an effective way where you get people's attention, you draw their attention, you hold their attention, and you make them understand it, then your problems and your solutions are going to remain in your head because you can't articulate it. So communication skills are very, very important. And these are the skills, these 6 skills are what I feel need to be taught at school, but are unfortunately not taught at school. Look, I don't hate the schooling system. I just hate the fact that what they teach is irrelevant, and the reason they teach is irrelevant. The reason they teach is to get to university. I mean, you go to 12 years of school only so that you can get entry into university. But life is more than just about university, right? Thanks for listening, and I'll catch up with you next time.